Hey guys, welcome back to Mindy's Monthly Marketing Tips. This is Starfish's once a month segment where I talk about marketing tips, tricks, and just general marketing advice to help you grow your business's online presence. Today specifically, I want to talk about influencer marketing. You've heard of influencer marketing in the past, and you may be familiar with influencers and how they are able to leverage your brand or other brands in order for your brand to get more promotion or for you to reach a certain KPI or what we call goals in how you're having that brand promoted. Influencer marketing is a very powerful tool, and it is dramatically increasing in its usage as time goes on, as more of these platforms gain these content creators and these influencers who are heavily helping brands really reach their goals just through what we call a form of social currency online, or almost like a word of mouth, but in more of a digital presence. So what is influencer marketing? Influencer marketing is paid promotion of product by influencers in your current market. Or really it could be in any market, just as long as they match what your brand and what your desired promotion of that brand is gonna be. It's not the same as like a celebrity endorsement, which is typically what we would see in the past. So in the past, you may watch a TV commercial and you would have, let's say Brad Pitt in the past used to get on a commercial and promote maybe donating to a certain charity or promote a certain brand. So that's where the idea originated from, but now that idea has basically trickled down into a smaller type of voice or representative or brand ambassador due to the influx in social media and its growth. Often, influencers will not collaborate with a brand if they do not actually like that brand or they do not actually support that product. So this is definitely setting a more strategic targeting on your audience than in the past when we would just hire a celebrity to talk about a brand. This is more genuine, it's more direct, and the people following that particular influencer is more likely to purchase your product because they trust the word and the reputation of that particular influencer. So an influencer is basically someone that does have the power to influence your purchasing decisions, is what an influencer is. And this person has developed a great relationship with their audience, typically on an online platform. And these are typically with people that have large social media presence and followers like YouTube, TikTok, and bloggers and Instagram celebrities. So these audiences that follow these people look towards these content creators for advice, and they do heavily value their opinions, which is a big part in how influencer marketing works. It's a more trusted environment versus something that seems paid and artificial. If they recommend a product, they are more than likely recommending that product because they know that it actually works and it's good and that they can feel confident endorsing that product themselves. According to an actual survey done in 2017, 85% of marketers engaged in a form of influencer marketing. 92% of those same individuals or companies said that those campaigns were very successful, and on average, a business can make a $5.78 profit for every $1 they spend on influencer marketing, which is a huge return on your investment in the grand scheme of investing in your marketing. So how do you create an influencer marketing campaign? Well, one, of course, you need to define what your business goal is. What does your ROI look like? And of course, making sure that that strategy makes sense and that there is an obtainable ROI and goal that is associated with your overall branding of that. Make sure that the goal is measurable. A good example of that is that you want twice as much of an ROI on your social engagement for your brand. So that's a great example of how that can be measured and an obtainable goal for your brand as well. So whether that be engagement or likes or followers or even a click to buy, you need to have that ROI and what that may look like defined before you actually are in the market for finding finding your influencer so you can appropriately articulate exactly what your brand message is and what goal you're trying to obtain. The next step is to research your influencers. You want to look for content creator whose audiences actually overlap with who your desired customers are. So what platforms are your customers actually on, and what influencers do your customers follow? Consider influencers who are active voices in your fields. Look at content that they create and reach out to those creators who actually like your content and engage with your content as well. You need to consider the size. So micro influencers are a great way of going about your influencer marketing. So you don't necessarily need them to have millions of followers, but a large following to the right audience can actually populate a really good return on your investment in that campaign. Micro influencers will more than likely have a very active following and people that really do value their opinion. The downside is that they may have a little less experience with these type of partnerships. So you will need to be clear in your expectation of that, and there may be some coaching required on the side of the micro influencers. Now, of course, you could go to your mid-tier influencers. They still have great relationships with their followers, and you'll get a great ROI, but they'll expect monetary compensation that are obviously going to be, it's a lot more expensive. And then of course, there's lastly your top tier, which these are these influencers that have the millions of followers. And of course, this is going to come with a higher price tag. And of course, as well, is you're going to be casting more of a broader net when you're using top tier influencers. So the strategy is going to be a little bit more diluted than if you were to use maybe more so of a micro influencer. And these people typically will need to be contacted through an agent or an agency. When micro influencers or smaller influencers, you might have a better chance of directly contacting them. Whether it's a micro influencer, a mid-tier, or a top tier influencer, it is really important to verify that they are legitimate influencers. Not everyone with a large following on these social media platforms may be an actual verified influencer that you would want to use for your campaign. So way of establishing that, it's going to depend on the platform. Like for instance, TikTok, they're going to have a little blue check mark next to their profile, which is going to mean that they're an actual verified influencer or TikTok creator. So make sure that they are visible. Scroll through their profile and look at their engagement and their following count. Large followers with little engagement or not a lot of commenting may impose a red flag. So you definitely want to check that out when you're in pursuit of who your particular influencer is going to be. Of course, the next phase in this is to plan an appropriate budget for the influencer marketing campaign that you want to run. Of course, influencers need to be compensated for the work that they're putting in. They're using their following base and all the hard work and time that they have spent being creators and getting that following base. So they need to be compensated appropriately for highlighting and bringing engagement to your brand. Other ways that you can go about looking into compensating your influencer is maybe even giving them freebies of your products or your services, or even giving them samples so they can try your products and services as well, so they get a better idea of what it is you're offering in conjunction with actual compensation. In 2017, the average price for an Instagram post in the influencer marketing world was $271. And for micro influencers, it was about $83 per post. And then of course, top tier, the average was $763 per Instagram post for that influencer campaign. Consider the other side of this. If you were an influencer and you were the person that was going to be marketing a brand, what would you pose as a fair compensation? And also, what would you feel like your time and what would be of value to you in order to be an influencer for that campaign? It's important to reach out to these influencers and their preferred method. So ways you could do that is reach out to them directly on their social media, be professional, obviously as casual as well. You want to be personable in your approach, but even ask them, what is the preferred contact method that you would like to do business? Drop your social media handles, drop your website, give them an opportunity to check out what products and services that you have before they make a decision on whether or not they do want to be an influencer for your brand. Don't leave any public comments on their post. This comes off as honestly rude and distasteful to the influencer. The more serious that you are about about your brand, the more professional you need to be in your approach. So privately reaching out to them and asking them to market your brand is the most respectful and professional way about approaching an influencer on their social media platforms. And don't really talk about yourself too much when you are approaching them. You want to keep this, like I said, very professional. You want to focus on the brand and ask them pertinent questions about what it would take in order for them to do a collaboration with you. Ask them if they would like to try your products and services, or if they've ever tried your products and services in the past. You also want to get to the point when you're having a conversation with these influencers and you don't want to give too many details about your campaign. So keep it short, sweet, and professional, and of course, as personable as possible. And then next becomes the collaboration phase. In this phase, you want to decide on agreement of exactly what the exchange is going to be between your influencer and your brand. You need to lay out what kind of content that you expect them to be posting on their platforms, and then also what tags that you want them to have, what hashtags you would also like them to incorporate in branding, and make sure that they have a clear expectation of what that looks like and exactly how you want them to promote and brand your products. Also, try not to rely on a script when it comes to the collaboration and the content that you want the influencer to put out. Scripts can honestly come off as a little disingenuous and it doesn't seem as authentic. If you were to just collaborate with that influencer on what feels comfortable for them and more organic style of content for them to deliver on that particular promotion or that post. And of course, discount codes are a great way of, incorporating that brand collaboration into that particular post. And it also helps with the tracking aspect, which of course is the last aspect of an influencer marketing campaign, is the tracking. So a lot of times these campaigns may be a little bit more difficult to really track, engage, but there are things that you can incorporate and implement in these campaigns to better help you have an understanding and an idea of what your return looks like. So like we mentioned, discount codes is a great way to track. It's a lot more reliable, and you want to make these codes creator specific so you know exactly where those referrals are coming from, or where there's purchases, or where that engagement is coming from. Unique hashtags are super critical in social media in general, especially in an influencer campaign. So make sure you create a hashtag maybe specific to that influencer and for your brand, so you can track exactly where those sales are coming from and how effective that marketing campaign is. There's a ton of ways that you can incorporate other methods of tracking through digital online campaigns, and that may require a little bit more of a deep dive into an effective digital marketing campaign. But a really good, healthy start is to, of course, use tracking codes, use discount codes, and use hashtags. That is one of the simplest ways to help track if this influencer campaign is effective or if it's working or not working. All right, guys, that's all we have today to discuss influencer marketing. I hope you learned a lot about this, and I hope that you had a little bit more direction on how to go about creating an influencer marketing campaign and reaching out to influencers. There's a ton of vendors and platforms out there where you can reach out and find influencer marketing. All you have to do is search them up, and there's tons of companies out there that will help connect you with an influencer, or as we discussed, find your favorite influencers online and reach out to them directly in a professional but personable manner. Like always, like, comment, share, and subscribe to these videos. And if you would like us to discuss anything that in particular that you're wanting to go over, please let us know in the comment section or reach out to us. We'll see you next time. Thanks.